Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's Obscura Undead weekly review, where we talk about a couple of recent albums that we happen to listen to and enjoy. This week we are talking about The Rope's latest release, Lillian, the Golden Apes' latest release,
and
Kazbek, of course it's all latest releases, and
we're going to talk about the Dark Nouveau compilation that just came out on Metropolis Records.
So the first band that we're reviewing this week is The Rope. They had a recent release on Swiss Dark Nights called Lillian. It was released at the same time as a collection of remasters from their first couple of EPs. And the remasters are great, but what we're excited about is Lillian because it's all new material. So just a little background on the band.
Looks like The Rope is based out of Minnesota.
They're Minnesota.
Minnesotian.
Mm-hmm.
Minneapolis.
Yep.
Their cover art is amazing. Kind of. What? It kind of looks like we might be listening to some black metal ambient, but once you start listening to the album, it really fits the cover. I think.
Yeah, it is not black metal ambient.
No, that's not what I meant.
Not even close.
That's not what I meant, but I meant that.
I know what you mean.
The
Like
lushness
there's
of
an
the-
aesthetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was really excited for this release, and I'm still excited for this release. I really enjoyed it because I am a big fan of The Rope. They reeled me in with their track Water to Wine off of their self-titled release. And this album, honestly, I felt was no different. It still really caught my attention. One thing I love about The Rope is their drums. I like when it's like an actual drummer.
It
Like,
is an actual drummer.
Someone actually playing the drums, because it just, I don't know, it's just so catchy and throbbing and pounding, and it's very, I don't want to say tribal, but it makes you wanna
Can I say that this is classic gothic rock?
Yeah.
Like fits all the elements of really great gothic rock, but those drums really do stand out because you can hear that it's a live drummer. Some of these songs might even be like recorded live, like in one take instead of in pieces. And you can kind of hear that, like it actually sounds like an actual band.
So it sounds cohesive.
Yes.
More instead of like assembled after the fact. Well, this band has been around for a while. They have a lot of practice doing this. So they were formed in 2009. So they've been around for 10 years. Yeah. And they do have a really like strong 80s sort of like second wave sound. Like, I absolutely agree.
Very second wave.
And the singer, Jesse, I think his last name is Hagen. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. We're bad at pronouncing things on this show. It's our trademark.
Jesse Hagon.
I love his vocals.
I like his vocals when he's not shouting, and he is shouting a lot.
I don't feel that way. I don't feel he was really all that shouting.
That's all right. He shouts a lot. So in like Terminus, which is track 2, the beginning of the song, like it dies down a little bit and you hear the vocals and the music, and then the chorus gets very heavy, which is really cool, and then he gets kind of shouty and screamy. Not screamy.
Not screamy. Okay, I can see maybe the shouty. Okay, but I guess it's interesting though that you said that it gets kind of heavy, because that's definitely something that I associate with like goth rock from the late 2000s.
Yes.
Into the early 2010s. This is sort of like really heavy guitar. Yeah.
And I like how they balance that out. There are a couple of songs like Terminus, Given to the Gun, Lillian, where they have a good balance of like that scaled back and then that really heavy. And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite tracks was actually Gravity, where it was more on the mellow side.
Gravity was such a nice track.
Yeah, it wasn't, because that was the one where I realized that all the other tracks were really loud vocals, and this one wasn't so much that. It was just more of a...
It was also less heavy. It felt like more open.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why I liked Gravity. And also the track Lillian. Of course, that's the title track.
That's definitely their dance floor filler.
That is their dance floor filler. Not only that, as I was listening to it, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to end up being like a Louise or a Lucretia, My Reflection. And next thing you know, the chorus comes out, and I'm like, this could be like another Lucretia. Like, you can almost place the choruses
Louise,
on top of each
Lucretia,
other.
Lillian.
You get it? Yeah. So, yeah, but, you know, just as the song was playing, like, in my head, I was like, dance the ghost with me. You know, like, you can almost hear it. It's got that energy. Not that the melodies are the same, but it's got that exact same, like, bounce and rhythm and energy.
I think my favorite track, Lillian and Lead, these were both, like, I felt really good dance floor fillers.
I knew you were going to say Lead.
But my favorite track...
I thought it was Lead.
No, I'm pretty sure it's Lead, considering that he says lead in the song. Like, the metal.
We need to... Did he say lead, the metal, or the past tense of lead?
Well, he was talking about how the rich have, like, gold and the poor have lead.
Okay, I stand corrected.
That was that's like one of the 2 tracks that I tuned into the lyrics on, because that's not usually something that I...
After the song ended, I was like, oh, that's called lead.
But I did notice that quite a few of their songs were about, like, class disparity. Which was interesting, because I don't think you get a lot of goth rock anymore that has so much of a political message, or at least it's not super popular. Which, I don't know, I like it. I like when... I kind of like that. I don't know why. But anyway, my favorite track was Now You Know. I thought that the drums and the sort of, like, monotony of the vocals worked really well together, and then when the synths come in, it really, like, accentuated... like everything, especially with the guitar. So you would hate if I ever, like, spun that track, but that's a track that I want to spin.
Okay.
Yeah, and no one would know how to dance to it, and I'd be out there jamming. And
you should probably just put it on and then run onto the dance floor and show us
show everybody how to dance to it.
Is that right?
I think those are my moves.
I'm pretty sure those are your moves.
I can't remember. Next, we are reviewing another album from a band that has been around for a while, and that is Kazbek, the latest release from Golden Apes, and according to their very cryptic liner notes, I guess it's about the story of Prometheus, which relates to the story of the band.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so Prometheus got punished for something that he did, and they strapped him to a rock, and Kazbek was the place, and there was, like, a hawk or something that was supposed to eat his...
pecked out his liver every day?
Liver.
Yeah.
Every day. Yeah. I thought that was weird because I was like, I need my liver. Like, what did he do? I don't know.
He stole fire from the gods and gave it to man.
Oh, that's right. The fire thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
But his liver.
I know, his liver. But Golden Apes is... they're really influenced by by Nietzsche, and I guess, classic mythology, which is pretty cool. But this album was released on June 7th. Golden Apes is out of Berlin. I saw them at Treffen, and...
We were at Treffen when this album got released.
Yes.
Did you see them the day the album was released?
I don't know if that's
that
the
would
day
be
they
pretty
played,
cool.
because I don't remember what days, like, what the date was that I went to go see stuff. I know
that
it was
wicked cool.
I know the day of the week it was.
But they also released a music video of them performing. I think it was
when they were at Topshinthal.
I can't remember which track it was.
Their live show was very much like how this album is. Like, they have a really subdued style. They're not a band that necessarily sets out to make tracks that make people dance.
I considered it a mellow,
post-punk,
gothic post-punk, album, like for a rainy day.
For a rainy day, it's definitely the kind of album that you put on when you want to, like, sit around and read or mope or cry or sleep.
It did remind me, like, it had some, like, New Order, Joy Division elements, simple, romantic. In the song, like, Deliverance, I felt that it had some, like Peter Hook kind of, like, bass lines. So, like, it was just very old school sounding.
Well, they have a very 90s, 2000s vibe, which is really unsurprising considering that they formed in 1998. So they've been around for a while. Their first album was released in like 2000. So they've been making music for a while. And this is another band that I really, really, really love because of the vocal quality and the fact that I love goth rock that you can just melt into. Like, you know, where the bass leads in and the guitars lead in and the vocals, you know, you just fall into it.
Like, sounds so romantic.
Well, I like, one big thing that I look in for my music is not necessarily what'll get me up and dancing, but something that'll just, you know, like, bring me back down to earth.
I like that, but with wave. So that exact same element, but with wave music.
See, with wave music, I prefer something that could make me dance. With goth music, I prefer something that would put me down.
I like both.
Ah.
I want it to do both.
You want it to do both?
I want to sleep on the dance floor.
We saw someone doing that at Volks Palast.
What?
Yeah, there was the girl who was just like sleeping on the dance floor.
No, that was at House Leipzig.
Oh, was that House Leipzig? Okay.
Yeah, and we thought she was dead.
Oh, we thought she was dead. But
I hope she wasn't dead, because that would be so not cool.
I really liked this album. I liked the intro. It led in with the really clear and resonant and also kind of rough vocals of, I think the vocalist's name is Pierre. And that resonance that he has in his vocals, just in the way that he sings, it's... I can't
clear.
I can't compare it to anyone. Like, I can't think of any other band.
I was thinking of that too. I was like, oh, let me just reference this and
like, can you
and tie it back to some older band. Not really.
I can't think of any other band that has vocals like him. Like any other vocalist that sounds like him. I feel as though he's very unique.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Because everything nowadays reminds you of something else.
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice to have a unique vocal every once in a while.
It is. It's nice to listen to someone and be just like, I can't place this, and because there's nothing to place. But that's one of the things that really stands out to me about Golden Apes, and it has since I started listening to them. I think back around 2007 when they released. I can't remember the name of the album, but it was the one that Ferryman is off of.
The Geometry of Tempest?
Yeah.
Whoa,
that's such a great album. That's very 2000s, like,
crazy.
isn't it?
Actually, this one from 2010, Denying the Towers Our Worlds Are Falling From, that's a 2000s cover. Like, that is so, like, vampy looking.
Did you notice anything interesting about this album? Maybe a voice that you know from somewhere else?
Is there a guest vocal?
Yes.
In, is it track 5?
It is Dust and Dew.
I don't know.
I'll give you a hint. You love her.
I'm not gonna be able to guess. I love a lot of girls. Oh, is it okay? From Berlin?
It's Shannon. Hammett from
the Light Asylum.
Canada.
Light Asylum.
No. Okay, this game is going on too long.
Oh my god!
Leathers and Actors.
I didn't know her name.
It's Shannon.
Okay.
Yeah, she provided guest vocals on Dust and Dew, and that track is so good too.
Dust and Dew.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I figured that might be like your favorite track simply because she was on it.
I didn't notice. God, I swear I gotta read the liner notes before I even listen to music.
Speaking of liner, I loved the Silver Lining. Cloud's Silver Lining, that track.
I liked Voykova, The Healing.
The Healing, that was also really good. And I think that both of those tracks like did the whole like really slow and then punctuated by like heavy guitars and then back to like really slow.
A lot of the songs were interchangeable for me, and like Kazbek and Deliverance and Oblivion, and they all had the same kind of mood and evoked the same kind of emotion, and that was that, you know, like just relaxation goth, like if that's a thing. And I don't want that to sound bad, but
no, it's mellow, and I have a lot of respect for bands that aren't afraid to put out a lot of really mellow songs, because usually the thought is you have to produce, you know, like 2 or 3 singles on an album that are like real dance floor hits in order to, you know, get that recognition, get that play. Because that's unfortunately what people like tune in for. So some bands, like a lot of bands, write songs specifically to fit like 120 and like certain beat patterns and song patterns, and I kind of really hate that. Like as a listener, I don't know why.
That's fine.
We'd have to go talk to a musician. I wonder if musicians hate that too. Does it stifle your creativity? I would actually really love to have a conversation about that. Like,
for another day.
I want to know. For another day. But this is definitely an album I'm going to go back to because I really want to know why the story of Prometheus lines up with like the sort of
Kazbek
story.
We might have to listen to the
Golden
lyrics
Years.
for Kazbek, which is track 3.
Gonna have to. Yeah, just track 3. But my favorite song, I think, out of all the tracks on the album was Interference.
Cool.
Yeah, but I did feel the album ran a little long. But I think it's just because I've been conditioned to not tune into albums that are more than like 40 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Oops.
Or EPs that have more than 4 songs.
Yeah.
Okay, and last but not least, Metropolis Records has released a new compilation called Dark Nouveau. You can get it on Bandcamp and Metropolis Records site. Came out on June 21st, and it is a compilation of all the new goth, darkwave, post-punk that is super hot right now.
Mm-hmm. And they're kind of collecting it under the name Dark Nouveau to really encapsulate what exactly is going on in like the music scene right now. And I think that the album did a really good job of that. It's 24 tracks that spread out across what is like the last 5 or 6 years and 24 different bands from different genres, and I don't know, it's perfect.
It is a good.
It's
like a welcome to the revival scene 101.
Yeah.
So you have all the major players there. She Passed Away, Haunt, Twin Tribes, I Am the Shadow, Skeleton Hands. A ton of great artists. And the first thing that if you keep up with the music in this scene, first thing you'll notice is a lot of these tracks are already released on albums.
Mm-hmm. They've been around
like you
for
said.
a while.
Yeah.
Like the She Passed Away track, that was I can't say this word. Assimilation, yeah.
Yeah, and so that was interesting because the She Passed Away album actually came out before this release. But I think the reason they didn't have a new track on there from She Passed Away was because it was planned to be released in July. She Passed Away album was supposed to come out in July, and this was supposed to come out in June.
Mm-hmm. Plus, they may have solicited tracks for this comp before they started recording anything too. This has been in process for, I think, at least since last year.
It would have been cool to have some more new tracks. I mean, I think
from more of the bands that are on there.
I think the newest song I can find on there is The Haunt from Silence the Voices, which comes from the Fierce album, and that album came out maybe April?
I think that was in April, but there are some tracks that are currently exclusive or premiered on this comp.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So we have one in particular that we want to point out. You want to talk about that?
It is Push Button Presses Hypatia. And we would love to tell you what that track is about, but unfortunately, we're just mere mouthpieces. And we would like to invite Jet from Push Button Press,
who happens to be here lurking in the shadows,
to tell us what it's about. And he's going to hopefully read a text from Jim. Hi, Jim. So come here. Come on.
Oh, come on.
This is Jet. Jet, what do you do?
I play synths for Push Button Press, a collaborative partner, and I play synths in a couple of other bands too.
He's a rock star.
He's a rock star. And he's our friend.
Yes, they're very much my friends, as a matter of fact. I love these two very much.
Aw. So tell us, what's Hypatia about?
So, as I had to ask Jim, since he's the one who writes our lyrics, he says, Hypatia was a 4th century female scientist who held great stature in Alexandria, Egypt. She was murdered by Cyril, an early Christian bishop, as a witch. She gave her life for science, watched the movie Agora, and he said that Cyril, the one who murdered her, later became a Catholic saint.
Whoa.
There we go.
Oh, wow. That seems like fitting punishment.
It does, actually.
Then
Thank you.
Well, that's really cool.
So thank you for that tidbit, Jet.
Thank you,
and,
Jet.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hi, guys.
We might have him back on one of our other videos, which will be to review music videos on live reaction. So
Every Thursday.
every Thursday.
Well, maybe not Jet on every Thursday, but we're going to be watching music videos every Thursday.
Oh, snap.
Snap. But yeah, Dark Nouveau is a great comp. It's $10, which might seem a little pricey for a comp when we're so used to getting them for like $2, $5
I mean,
free.
come on. You have
But
24 tracks on here.
This
Just
album
pay
is
the 10
worth
bucks.
it. This album is
24
worth it.
tracks. What has the world come to when we stop paying for music? Come on. Also, I just want to make a shout out to Dancing Plague, my favorite obscure band. I love
Obscure
them. They're still obscure,
Okay.
and they're still great. So one of their tracks on there is not even from their newest release, which is sad, but still, track on there, and Endless Want is a great representation of the band. Paradox Obscure is on here. And there's Night Nail, Noir, Balvanera, Ashcode. So if you have never heard of these bands, then you definitely need to pick up this album.
I know that the band is Balvanera, but I always say Balverine because I have played way too much Fable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oops.
I played Fable and I don't remember Balverine.
It's like the werewolf things.
I don't remember that. Like Xbox, like the old one, where like the video game came in like a case like this.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh.
Tangent. Sorry.
Sorry. Were there like 5 Fables before they got like
No, I think that there were
Discontinued.
3.
were like 3?
There were 3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 3.
And the most recent, the third one was, God, I hated that anyone could drop into your game. I wanted to just,
That's why you need to play the games that aren't like that.
I
Like,
hate,
there is a game that's like that called Torchlight, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and you could like superpower your weapons and fall in love with them, and then you have to get them replaced. And
Thanks.
people can't drop into your game.
see,
You explore and you do it on your own, and you get a little sidekick wolf.
I just want to play by myself.
You want to play with yourself?
By myself.
I'm sorry.
But thanks for joining us for our weekly review and I guess video game review. Oops. And a big thank you to our patrons who make these videos possible. We would like to thank our Violet and Sparkle Violet tiers on camera, as we do every week, and we even had some new ones as of last week. So let's read them off. Thank you to David Zoeser.
Thank you to Acid Bitter.
Thank you to Skullgirdle.
Thank you, Cadaver Kelly.
Thank you, Diasiculus.
Thank you, Beth Razoth.
Thank you, Dreaming Noctis.
Thank you, Junkyard Bat.
Thank you, Mason Shiver.
Oh, we said it right this time. Thank you, Libby.
Thank you, The Count.
Can we show a picture of either Count Chocula or the Count from Sesame Street whenever we say that? Just really fast.
I mean, we could, but what would be even better is if we show some of the photos from Treffen where a bunch of us took pictures with his picture because he couldn't join us, unfortunately. And a friend of ours, Jez, brought along these pictures of his face and
he was
did
everywhere.
nasty things to him.
He was everywhere. I like how on the last day, like, his picture was all, like, crumbled and gross.
Oh,
and
it was so bad. Caroline destroyed it.
what did she do to it?
Loved it.
And
too
why did no
much.
one stick their tongue through and do,
I
like,
wanted
that
people
little,
to
like...
do that so bad, but I think the picture just got so gross by the end that no
Oh
one
my
was
God.
willing to. Next year.
Next time.
Next year. All right. That's it for this episode. Check out our other episodes. On Sunday, we uploaded our news, our weekly update, and on Thursday, we will have our music video react. So, see you there. Bye.
Bye.